All
Yeah.
right. We're on the right side. I'm always like, okay, let's see where we appear this time.
Episode 14.
For a season 2. Are we halfway through season 2?
Man, I don't
Is
know.
it 28 episodes? Isn't that what we did last time?
I guess. I don't know. I have no idea how long a season should last anymore. Does that
Who
ever
knows?
happen to you? When you're
Yeah.
watching a show on like HBO and there's 10 episodes in a season, but you don't realize it. And so you're like, is this the last episode? Or you're watching it and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that was sweet. And then you go next week and you're like, oh, that was the last episode of the season? No wonder it was so good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, dude. I did that with The Walking Dead recently. I kind of lost track of it, but it was like, wait, season 12 ended? Wait, then they'll do the half season end. Like, you're
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
the midway, and you're like, wait, dude, come on, just make every episode good, please. You know what I mean? And with binging, dude, who cares, man? Just put them all out there. Don't make me wait a week for the next episode. That drives me crazy.
Wait, so
Just
are
drop
you
'em
watching
off.
The Walking Dead? Like, is it still on the air? I don't even know, to be totally honest with you. Or are you binging it
No,
right now?
I kind of lagged on it, dude. I kind of. The thing is, I've gotten confused because all the characters are different. I don't know who the people are or the towns are. They got all the different little
Wait,
hillside
did
or
you
whatever. I'm
forget like from the time you started watching till now or something? Or did you watch like 3 seasons, stop watching, and then go back and be like, yeah, I don't remember what I watched for the first 3 seasons?
That no, it was more of like season 8 or 10 or wherever they're kind of high up now. I think I was watching it and then I stopped, and then I tried to go back and was like, okay, one, I forgot where the heck I was, and two, I don't know these people, and I've kind of lost the storyline, so I don't really know what's going on.
Do you still have cable? Are you
No.
still watching like TV as it comes out, or is it all like streaming services now?
It's more streaming now because we only got rid of cable maybe 3 months ago.
Wow.
But dude, I
You
had
held
it.
on.
And, yeah, and I held on for a long time because it was
You're the
all
last cable owner.
dude, and it's so bad. You're like, wait, I gotta set my clock to say, okay, at 3 o'clock this show comes on, and I gotta watch it. And then their selection of on demand is trash, dude. You're like, okay, I'll go to like Peacock. Unless you pay for it, it's probably better. But I don't pay for it. But you can get The Office on it, and it's like, dude, I'm good with The Office. You know what I mean?
And 30
But
Rock?
30 Rock's on there.
Like,
Yeah,
all right, cool.
I'm cool. But then
The
they
new
have
Saved
like,
by the Bell. All right.
oh, that's true too. But then they'll have like drama like SVU, Law and Order SVU. So you're like, all right, I can watch that. And then it'll be like the last 2 episodes available. You're like, can't binge that.
Does this ever happen to you? This happens to me all the time. And so I'll be watching football or something which is on network TV, and it'll like be like, you know, they'll talk about some show, you know, the Intruder or whatever the name of the show is, right? And you're
Yeah,
like, what is
yeah.
this show? And it's like season 9. You're like, this has been on for 9 seasons and I've never
Yes.
heard of it, and it's on NBC. Does that ever happen to you?
Oh yeah, dude. You watch because I watch football still too.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I will watch. And you'll be like, what? Like Queen Latifah.
Yeah, that's the
Equalizer.
one I was thinking
season
about,
2. It made it to season 2.
Well, I'm like, there was a season 1, but like there'll be like a ton of them where like I've never heard of the show, and they're on season 4. I'm like, what is this show? I don't get what's
There's
going on.
so many random shows. Dude, who watches network TV anymore?
Dude, I think, well, the crazy part for me is that no one, the beef tonight is going to be so interesting because no one could ever kind of do this anymore. We're so splintered as a society. We're so splintered. And then not only are we splintered and then in an echo chamber, you know? So it's like, yeah, man, I'm into anime. And it's like, well, I'm not. And so I have nothing to talk to you about because that's all you do is spend your time thinking about anime. Like, people are not well-rounded anymore.
Yeah, but then again, you got your niche, and there's an audience for it.
No,
You know
that's
what I mean?
well,
So-
we appreciate that because
That's a
our
good
numbers
thing.
are growing, and that's
Yeah.
the niche that wants to see 2 half Asian guys talk about nothing.
Random stuff.
Yeah. But well, okay. So tell me what you think about this. Like, do you ever think Facebook and Instagram, when they came out, that was the beginning of the end for fame? Does that make sense to you?
That was because there's different kinds of fame because you can be famous on Instagram and actually make a living. I remember there was one story I read
Make
about.
a very nice living too.
But yeah, be
handsome living.
lucrative. Yeah, you're fine. You're living comfortable, living fat. But there was a
IBM
kid-
executive living.
Yeah, totally, dude, totally, like solid. And he would just steal memes and repost them steal
Yeah.
memes, repost them.
Wasn't
And he
that
said
guy
he was making-
Jewish?
I don't know. It was just the story. I can't remember if they even mentioned the kid's name because he was like 16, 17 doing it. He's all, dude, I was making like $6,000 a month. And then they took all that away because they said I was copying and stuff. And I was like,
but
well,
you are.
but you are. But it's like, dude, now you just be original and kind of do stuff. But I'm sure if he's smart enough to do that, steal stuff, it's like, come on, dude. I guarantee you people steal and dude, like stealing. Speaking of that, you watch some of these YouTubers like that. What's the girl with the glasses? Sniper Wolf or whatever.
Dude, I don't watch.
It's just all, dude. She posts something 2 hours later. It's got 5 million views, and she's an attractive girl, but she just does reaction, and it'll be like times when kids were bullied at school, and she'll clips, and then she'll talk about it. Oh my gosh, and it'll be a 15. Dude, we gotta look her up. You gotta look her up and just be like, what?
No,
Maybe we need to be prettier.
No, because the difference is I watch people with talent on YouTube. Like, so I appreciate YouTube. Like, I watch Kara and Nate, and they travel all around the world, and like they're super friendly and super nice. It's like, dude, I feel like I know these people. I watch German in Venice, and he's just this German guy that lives in Venice Beach, and he just walks.
How many
around.
people? How many average? How many
subs?
views do they get? Yeah, how many
Oh,
subs?
dude, that guy has 100,000 subs, and he gets probably about 13,000 views a video.
Okay.
But Kara and Nate are in the couple million. Like,
okay.
And so it's baller stuff they get to do. So like these beautiful cruise companies will be like, why don't you come and take a cruise on our ship for free on us and just blog about it? And then they got it to stay at a $10,000 hotel in Vegas. Oh, it was sick, dude. They showed it. I was like, that's the sickest thing I've ever seen. It came with a butler. I was like, this is gross.
And they put them up
so
for free
awesome.
just to talk about it on their.
Yeah, because they're going to reach.
Maybe
so
I
many
have
fans.
seen that one. Is it a white guy and a black wife?
No, it's two white people. But there's a
that's a
Korean
different
guy.
one.
There's a Korean guy I watch, and he's in Ukraine, and he just walks around. I like travel videos, I guess. Now that I'm telling you all the people I watch on YouTube.
That's cool.
But then I watch podcasters a lot on YouTube because it's just a real easy way to find their content. But what do you think about this whole Mark Zuckerberg thing and Instagram and WhatsApp? Do you think they should break it up? Do you think there should be any form of government interference? What do you think?
I don't know if it should be. Well, I don't know, dude, because back in the day, you had the government overseeing it. Dude, we had the FCC and radio.
Yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big shout out to the biggest rebel,
Vicky
Vi.
what's up?
Orale, you rebels.
Well, here's the thing. So you have 5 companies that control what you're allowed to say.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Those 5 companies pretty
Censor.
much. Well, they pretty much control speech at this point. You know what I mean?
Have you used DuckDuckGo instead of Google?
It won't change those 5 things though. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
The only
okay,
thing
right.
DuckDuckGo does, it kind of masks the internet so it doesn't come after you. But realistically, you should be able to just put on an incognito browser and do the exact same thing. But from what I understand from Rogan and all those guys that use DuckDuckGo, it's not that way. Well, and then it also doesn't prioritize the internet the way that Google does, from what I understand. But that's the thing is that we remember the internet from when it was, kind of a wild open space and you could do whatever you want. And now, slowly but surely, it's trying to shape our society into believing what it believes, or we're all in trouble. Do you ever feel that way?
Well, I feel like it is kind of controlling what we see. So they're creating the filters
controlling
and what comes out.
Well, that came out in the
the
court
whistleblower
case with Zuckerberg, yeah. And then like everything that she talked about on 60 Minutes essentially said in court, and all the politicians are like, "What?" And it's like, "Yeah, dude, this is bad for you. You're not supposed to be doing this stuff."
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I respect about you is that you're not good at it. I'm being honest, because if you were good at it, there wouldn't really be a reason for you to be good at it. Like, I'm good at it because I like to sell e-cigarettes. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I gotta sell e-cigarettes. So I learned how to do it really well, and then now I can do it for the Chino brothers. But like, people who just constantly are on their phone, dude. I remember when it transitioned to where people would come to the shop and hang out, and while we were talking, they'd pull their phone out and look, and I'm like, no, this is a chin wag there, friend. This is what men do. We
Yeah.
talk.
We hang out, we talk, we puff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Put that down, and I luckily there was never like tequila involved when it happened because that would really piss me off if I bought a good bottle of tequila on Thursday nights. This was dope back in the old days. Every Thursday night after we closed the shop down, we drink. Me and Urbanic.
Oh boy.
Oh, so much fun, man. We just dude, but the problem was Friday sucked.
Oh, dude.
Man,
how big a
sometimes-
bottle of tequila and how many people?
Sometimes it'd be up to 4 of us, but most of the time it'd just be me and Chris Urbanic. And Chris Urbanic can drop them back.
Like a
For those of
big
you-
bottle?
Yeah, half gallon. For those of you who don't know who Chris Urbanic is, well, sometimes we do the fifth or whatever, the next one down. You know what I mean?
It's the fat, but the flat one, but it's fat. It's not the
like
small
a full
pocket one.
size, like a full size bottle of tequila.
Okay.
Like,
How many shots per person?
I don't know, because we'd pour tumblers. Dude, we drank a lot, dude. We drank a ton. Gavin knows what I'm talking about. Gavin either heard the stories or me and Gavin have drank at the shop before, but not like that. Like now I don't do it like that. Before, dude, there's videos on Facebook of our last night at Westview before we opened up Kennedy. The last night before we opened up Kennedy, the 4 of us stayed there and drank, and I got hammered. And there's videos of me being like, let me tell you something, Tiny Box is the best. And then Brandon standing behind me going like this.
Yeah, not like you and Chris. That's what Gavin says.
Yeah,
so.
it's true, Dad. No, me and Gav will do like a gentleman's shot for an accomplishment or something, which we need to do more often. Me and Brando did it way more. Me and Eddie, that was before Brandon, we drank a lot. But me and Chris, dude, oh my gosh. And then one night me and Chris almost got in a fist fight.
With each other or with other people?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he came at me, bro. But I'd said something mean. I said something really mean. And then I apologized 100 times, and he was like, and he stood
Really?
up.
He's a scary dude. He
Oh,
could be scary.
He's not only scary, he can fight because he's the head bouncer everywhere.
Oh,
you know what
boy.
I mean? And he takes that job because his real job is teaching disciplinary bad children. So all day he's in a horrible mood. Then he gets to go someplace where he gets to beat people up. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, all day just kids being kids.
He teaches at the gangster school. Like once you got kicked out
wow.
of school and kicked out of school and kicked out of school, now you're going to Chris's school. He's had guns pulled on him before, like legit, dude. Chris is like at a bad school, but dude, he's so good for those kids. He's so good for those kids.
Yeah,
but anyways,
that's good.
yeah. So then he goes to the nightclub, has some kid from Wexford, some white neighborhood come over and pop off to him. And he's like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus. I needed this today." And he just wrecks him. He just wrecks him, dude. Tells me all these stories. But anyways, so so one night I said something rude to Chris, really mean. I'm not even going to repeat it. And so he gets up and I'm like, Chris, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. And he's coming at me with his hands out. So I know he's going for my throat. So I'm like, forget this. So I step up as fast as I can and I start swatting his hand down. I'm like, come on, Chris, knock it off. And there was a cat called Jason that used to hang out at the shop. And he was a wise guy. He reminds me of, you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know Charlie, the little guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dude. That my buddy Jason Negri. He reminds me of him mixed with Joe Pesci and Goodfellas. If you mix the two of them together, that's Jason. Jason worked for the mob when he was 14 for the mafia.
Oh, is that? I think you told me about him.
Yeah.
He does.
But he's real funny, dude. He's one of the best ball busters I've ever seen in the history of my life. This guy, he knows how to get right to the edge and not offend you and get you laughing so hard, and he's pointing it at you. Like, he's so funny. But anyways, yeah. So Chris coming at me, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then Jason goes, come on, you two, get a room. If you're going to have sex, but he's being a lot more vulgar than that. So
Yeah.
Chris sits down, I sit down. And then there was this kid called Evan that was with us, and he has like gym muscles, and he's from the suburbs, and I don't believe he's been in very many fights, if any at all. He's like, oh, I could have taken him, and I was like, bro, don't do that. He's like, come on, Chris, you want to go? And so Chris was like, yeah. He's like, I could take you, dude. In like half a second, Chris had him wrapped up with his head underneath his arm and was pulling on his neck the whole time, trying to choke him all the way out. Yeah. And then me and Jay were like now on top of Chris, like we jumped on him like a tree, trying to pull him off of him. Yeah. And then when we finally got him off of him, this Heaven goes, I could have gotten out of there and taken it. I was like, dude, please stop
Stop.
talking.
Stop, dude.
Talking.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But anyways, yeah. So I don't know how we got on that story, but I don't watch a lot of network television.
Yeah, dude. And I feel like when you talk about fights and stuff, dude, there's very few times we even almost got in a fight, going to the clubs and everything, and
No fisticuffs.
nothing
us.
like that. We saw them and we watched them from the upper deck. You know what I'm saying? But I just felt like I've always known what pain is, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? You played football in high school. I wrestled in high school, and
I feel like though wrestling, like there's so many good MMA fighters that were wrestlers, so like you should be able to handle yourself.
Yeah, but I still don't like pain though, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bro, I totally am
yeah.
with you on that, especially that, like cranium pain. You know that, like, dude, I hate
Ears ringing, seeing stars.
I can't stand when you get hit in the head. I don't like that sound.
The nose.
I don't like the sound. I don't like the sound of my head getting hit. I'm like, it like that makes me unhappy. You know what I mean? And then the pain obviously makes me unhappy as well.
Dude, the worst was in wrestling. They'd freaking do those trick moves like Gusha, and you'd be like, "Hey, ref!" And you're just like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Yeah, you'd like, cover the cornhole.
They goose
bro.
you really?
Yeah, like a sneaky move because it'd throw you off. You'd be like, "Whoa!" And then all of a sudden
wrestled.
you're getting pinned. And you're like, "Dude, oh my gosh,
That's pretty
dude."
clever though.
It is. Look for the guy with the brown fingers. That's the guy you don't want to wrestle.
That's the guy you don't want to wrestle. I'll say this and we'll get into our beef. So the other day, me and Nehemiah watched UFC 4. Dude, I've never really watched any of those early UFCs, and there was such a crap show because it'd be like a guy who was a boxer.
It's like a street fight kind of, right?
It's like a kung fu guy. You're just like, why? And there were no rules back then, except for there was no eye gouging. Other than that, everything was fair game. You could pull their hair, you could fish hook them, you could punch them in the balls. Dude, there's this one guy, he came out, he had a big giant cross on his back. He's this Korean dude. And Nehemiah looks, and Nehemiah's pretty religious. Nehemiah looks and he goes, "Man, Jesus ain't helping you, pal."
That's a great comment.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
dude, and Neil's really religious. Right after he said that, he looked at me and goes, "I'm not saying that Jesus doesn't help us, Dad, but come on, you can't fool Jesus just by walking out with a cross." Yeah, dude, and this cat got racked up, bro. He got
dude, it had to be train wreck after train wreck, right?
It was, dude. It was so awful watching it.
Dude, well, Kimbo Slice used to be the guy that you see on YouTube. Hey, who wants to fight Kimbo Slice? And be like, $100, dude. And then he'd get that look like, whoa, and just be like a tank. But then when he went to UFC, it didn't really work the same, right?
You know what's nuts? Yeah, that's the crazy part. So when he went to UFC, he was a decent fighter, but he was never like a big champion. But he did beat Ken Shamrock, but it was kind of like a older guy match. Like they were probably like a couple years younger than us at the time when they fought.
Okay.
But Jorge Masvidal, which is one of the best fighters in the UFC, he started in Kimbo's camp. He was like they started a whole video series, and he was one of the kids street fighting in the video series.
Oh wow!
And he's a really good fighter. So
Kimbo Slice would scare me, man. That dude was scary.
I mean, he was scary.
On the street.
Dude, him and Brendan Schaub were on the same season of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, I think it was called. I can't remember what it was. Ultimate Fighter, and it was it was on Spike TV. It was a reality show, and then whoever won the season got to actually get a contract with the UFC to fight. And so that's how Schaub got into the UFC. But anyways, yeah, he was talking about Kimbo Slice, and he was like, yeah, he'd always tell me, if you ever get in a knife fight, just give him this, show him your forearms. And he put his forearms up, and they were just all scarred up from all these knife fights that he'd been in. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, that's nuts. Oh my gosh, dude.
All right.
Yeah,
have you ever watched Snatch before?
The movie Snatch?
Yeah. The Guy Ritchie movie, Snatch.
Maybe. No.
I swear you saw it with me. Me and Ryan and Pete got into this Guy Ritchie phase, and we watched Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and we watched Snatch. But Brad Pitt in Snatch is a pikey boxer in the movie. And so they're the gypsies, and they travel all around, Europe and stuff like that. But they're all known for fighting. They start the kids when they're like 2 years old, and it's just this grimy lifestyle of these gypsies that go around the country. Nobody likes them in Europe. Nobody likes them in England. But they fist fight. They bare knuckle fist fight in these gravel roads. And you can see the fights on YouTube. Okay.
Huh.
But no matter how many people fight in that arena, there's only one who can beat all of them. And to that, they give the name the Gypsy King. Do you know who the Gypsy King is?
Who?
Tyson Fury, and he's fighting Deontay Wilder this weekend.
That's who that is.
Yeah.
So the term Gypsy King means you're the alley, the gravel road winner.
Yep.
Also, he's coming for. Oh, dude,
you're the pikey winner. And here's the thing.
Oh,
you don't pretend you're the Gypsy King either. You know what I
you
mean?
gotta
That's
earn
like,
it.
That's like pretending you're a Crip or pretending you're in the mafia. You know what I mean?
You don't do it.
So,
oh wow, that's this weekend, huh?
So yeah. So
we're talking about that. Are you doing the pay-per-view?
I don't know, man.
Dude, you just made it really interesting now when you mentioned that.
I'm having a hard time.
That.
Bro, if you wanna see this fight, you should watch their second fight's on YouTube for free right now, and you understand the sweet science of boxing so much by watching that fight. Because Deontay Wilder, up until that point, was seriously like he looks like a superhero. He's just totally jacked.
Yeah.
And he has this right hook, but he's not a good boxer. He just is a bomber. So he has this right hook, and it puts everyone to sleep. But he's not really good. Like he doesn't have the slickness is what they call it, or he doesn't have the sweet science down. Where Tyson Fury he's 6'9", but he moves like Floyd Mayweather. Like he's so quick.
6'9". Okay,
yeah,
that's huge.
and he's
that's
so
tall.
slick. He can avoid punches within a millimeter of his face. He's so good, but then at the same time, he weighs so much, right? So in the last fight, every time they tangle up, he just put all his weight on Wilder, or on Deontay, Wilder. He put all his weight on Wilder till Wilder's legs started getting really tired, and his body started getting really tired, and then he just beat the crap out of him because he's too exhausted to fight.
Yeah, because that'll worry, dude. I'm sure he's what 300 pounds. You're holding up
270.
You're holding up 270 pounds, dude. Yeah, that's gonna wear you out, especially after being in the ring for a few rounds.
Dude, he beat him so hard that his ear bled, and he said in the press conference, I'm gonna drink your blood tonight after I beat you, and I think it was the 5th round. He was beating him and beating him and beating him. Then they clinched up, and he stuck his tongue out and licked his blood off his neck.
That was in Squid Games.
Was that in Squid Games?
They had a little in the I just watched a little bit of the first episode. And he drank the blaze. Yeah, that's crazy though, dude.
I wonder if they got it.
Sherilyn, let's do pay-per-view.
Sherilyn, when I first met her, she didn't want anything to do with watching fights. She never she didn't like that. I don't know if she didn't like it, but she couldn't understand why I was into Mike Tyson or any of that stuff. And then I don't know how, but I got her watching fights, and now she's like, is there a UFC match on this weekend? And I'm like, let me look. Is it anybody good? Is anybody you know? And if it's not somebody that I want to see, I'm like, no, let's not see it. But like, dude, we watched this Nate Diaz fight together, me and Sherilyn. Whoo, man, it was the most violent fight you've ever seen in your life.
DJ EVP checking in. What's up, homie?
DJ EVP? DJ EVP, do you watch the fights? Do you watch boxing or do you watch UFC?
UFC or anything?
Yeah.
There's a big audience for it too. A lot of people do.
This dude, Nate Diaz, bro, he got his head beaten in. And I can't remember how many rounds that fight was. I feel like it was a 5-round fight. He got it. I mean, I'm telling you, Adelaide, like his face didn't look the same because he gotten him beaten so bad. And he kept going forward like, let's go. And then he almost won the fight at the end of the 5th round.
Really?
Bro.
That's where you got to give it up, dude. Those dudes are just, I mean, you come
monsters.
From a different place to be like, take that much pain and keep going. I'm the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I don't like pain. When I wrestled for a few years, and I remember there was nothing like winning. Don't get me wrong. When you won, you're just like, oh, it's the best feeling ever. But when you lose, dude, you're just
EVP,
like,
who do you think is going to win the fight this weekend? And do you think that Anthony Joshua is going to get the belts back, or are they still going to go to that Russian kid? So who do you think is going to win the fight this weekend? And do you think Anthony Joshua should get the belts back? So they're trying to unite the belts again, like Tyson did.
Okay.
So that's the thing. All right, well, let's get into this beef because I want to see if we can keep to a time schedule ever. As far as I can tell, this is the first beef ever.
As far as hip hop goes.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but like I couldn't find an earlier beef. I remember this beef. Let's see. I was in 4th grade, and breakdancing was really big, and like, you couldn't get the records anywhere. They didn't really play it anywhere on the radio. You kind of heard it on
Right.
K-Day every once in a while, but you'd have to go to like these really weird record shops and look through, their small 12-inch single thing, or you could get it at
Yeah.
the swap meet if you were lucky.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because even then, so I was probably 5th or 6th grade, so I kind of wasn't really. I was into music and stuff, but it was more like 7th grade I started getting into hip hop, which was 83, maybe.
Well, one way or another, I know that like I listen to that old stuff, and you're not really as much as into that old stuff. So that some of these names you might not have heard of before, but some of them
Yeah.
you will have. Okay,
Okay.
so here we go. Season 2, Beef. This time, Adley, it's UTFO versus Roxanne Shante, and as far as I can tell, this is the first beef ever. So, UTFO stands for Untouchable Force Organization. Don't ask me why the T in UTFO is touchable, but that's the truth. Made up of Kangol Kid, his name was Schiller Sean Fergero, educated rapper Jeffrey Campbell, Dr. Ice, Fred Recuse, Mixmaster Ice, Maurice Bailey. They were formed in 1984. So UTFO, dude, they were just a really cool group, and everybody remembers this song that we're going to talk about. But they had this other song called Split Personality that I loved. Oh my gosh,
I
it was
remember
so
that.
dope.
I do remember that one. Yeah.
Split personality.
Roxanne.
Personality. I hope you find my split personality. And he starts rapping in French and stuff. But anyways, so exactly, DJ EVP, Roxanne, don't you understand? Roxanne, I want to be your man. Exactly. In 1984, they hook up with Full Force. Do you remember Full Force?
Full Force. Now they were those buff dudes.
Buff dudes, yeah, those buff R&B singers.
Super
Yeah.
musical. They produced Lisa.
Yep,
By the
but
way.
they also produced UTFO.
Ah.
So they were putting out a 12-inch single. It was called "Hanging Out." On the B side was a song called "Roxanne."
Yep. Okay.
The song was about a fictitious woman who turned the three rappers down. Now, at this time, also, UTFO had a promotional agreement with Marley Marl, who was Biz Marquis' producer.
Okay.
And he backed out of it. They backed out of it last minute. UTFO then backed out of a concert promoted by Marley Marl and DJ Mr. Magic. So at this point, Marley Marl, who lives across the street from Lolita Shante Gooden, called her over there and asked her if she would rap over a track. So she was like, okay. So he dubbed her Roxanne Shante because he needed them to put out this track called Roxanne's Revenge.
Okay.
So, yeah, in 1984, she put out Roxanne's Revenge. It was laced with profanity and used the exact same beat as the
original Roxanne.
Yep.
Ah. Okay.
Marley Marl was given a cease and desist order immediately for copyright infringement. Give me 1 second. After that, he changed the beat, took the cussing out, put it back on, and it became like a heavy rotation record for all the hip hop stations.
Ah. Okay. Roxanne's Revenge.
That was what it was called. Full Force heard the original, with the cussing on it, and they thought they could capitalize on it. So that's why they went after Marley Marl to give him the cease and desist, because they wanted to come out with their own Roxanne called The Real Roxanne. Oh. And put her on a UTFO record. Isn't that crazy?
I do remember seeing stuff about The Real Roxanne, and there was Roxanne Shante. I honestly thought they were the same person.
Well, don't worry, that gets into the story. So,
okay.
Now here's the thing. Shante at that time, Roxanne Shante was 13 years old.
Huh.
Isn't that crazy? She was 13 years old.
She's rapping all that profanity.
Yeah. So, after Marley Marl was given the cease and desist, he re-recorded it, but as he was doing that, Full Force started auditioning to find a female rapper. They hired Elise Jack and called her The Real Roxanne, to discredit Roxanne Shante. They tried to put out the track before they could re-release the real Roxanne. So, and by the way, it sold 250,000 copies.
Wow.
Isn't that good? The real
Wow.
Roxanne. I know, man. I'm impressed with this kid. So
Okay.
before Marley Marl started producing her and putting out these records, she lived in a group home and she was a booster. Do you know what a booster is?
What's that?
It's someone who you give money to and you tell them, here's my shopping list from the clothing store. And they go rip off the clothing store and come and sell you the clothes.
And keep the money. Dang.
Yep. She was a booster. So shortly after the release, Elise, Jack, had a falling out with UTFO.
That's the real Roxanne.
Yeah, the real Roxanne.
Real.
So nobody kind of understands if there was something weird that went on, but what we do understand is this: Elise was not credited when they put the track out. They didn't put her name on the track.
Even though it sold a bunch of copies.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So what they did was they put out the single and then they quickly replaced her with Adelaida Martez. Yeah,
No relation.
She would then go on and be known. I know, 250,000 is
That was
a gang of money
250,000
back then.
units.
Units, dude. So that's $12 a
Units.
clip. Don't forget that. Or maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're $5 because they were singles, huh?
Yeah,
But then they dubbed her the real Roxanne, Adelaida. What was it? Adelaida Martinez. Yeah.
Okay. So this is actually the second real Roxanne.
Well, yeah, but that was the real Roxanne that would go out and tour. So when
Oh.
UTFO would go out and tour, they'd bring the real Roxanne, which was now this new real Roxanne. Yeah, isn't this crazy?
Wow. Yeah, this is insane. Okay.
Yeah. So they released the song called "The Real Roxanne" with originally Elise and now with Adelaida. Well, Adelaida goes out and sings it, but Elise's voice is on the record.
Is actually on the record. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But
Oh
the
my
real
gosh.
Roxanne is just her dissing them, but they're in the video with her, like, hey, what's up, Roxanne? Hey, what's up, y'all?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. UTFO and Full Force did everything they could to make people think that the real Roxanne was Roxanne Shante, which is probably why you thought they were the same people.
How did they do that?
So whenever there'd be a show with Roxanne Shante, they'd like do a show on the same time frame and stuff like that. So that way it would always look like it was the same thing. You know what I mean?
Just to confuse everybody.
Exactly.
Okay. Keep the story going.
Yeah. Then a female rapper called Sparky D put out a track called Roxanne, You're Through.
Ooh.
Yeah. At this point, everybody tried to get in on this because this was like the first time like a hip hop phenomenon went viral. All
Okay.
in all, there are 25 tracks still on YouTube that are like Roxanne's sister, Roxanne's brother, Roxanne's parents, Roxanne's doctor. Like you can look them up and they're there. And it's rumored that there were over 100 tracks written in this Roxanne vein. Isn't that crazy?
That is, yes. Wait. So I'm thinking like Sparky D? Who
Yeah.
is she affiliated with?
UTFO?
UTFO or not really?
Not really, but she kind of had a name going, and you'll understand why I'm telling you this because it gets even crazier. Well, I don't want to say crazier because it's weird. 'Cause this is crazy, but nobody's getting shot. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Okay.
And it's also
Yeah.
crazy because it's like I'm Roxanne's brother, so don't you mess with it. Like it's just like and I listen to some of them too, man. Like I'm Roxanne's doctor, and it's like what is going on around here? Like, but it was when hip hop was like nobody knew what hip hop really was.
It was still
Hip-hop
kind of
breakdancing
Yeah,
music.
it's kind of coming together.
Yeah, Fred and Barney could do a rapping commercial, and it's like a bunch of white kids breakdancing, So, I think the reason why this beef is so interesting to me is, first of all, none of the women were named Roxanne, ever. None of them were named Roxanne. That's first. It was supposed to be the B-side of a record, and I feel like UTFO was like, dude, this is milking it. Well, I actually know what UTFO is like, this is milking it. Because in late 1985, UTFO released a second track called Roxanne, Roxanne, Part 2. Now, I didn't listen to that one, unfortunately, but I'd be willing to bet it was a lot of the same lyrics.
Hey, if you can sell 30% of 250 units, you're probably making money. You know what I mean? If you're still doing another.
No, Roxanne's
100,000.
Revenge did 250,000 units.
Oh, Revenge.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Roxanne. I don't even know what that did. That might have done. That
More?
might have gone platinum for all I know. I don't know. I
Holy
guess I
cow.
should have looked that up. I don't know.
This is Roxanne's gyno, and I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you.
Exactly. I'm telling you, it was like that.
This is Roxanne's gardener. Oh,
Yeah, I'm telling you, Roxanne's. Bro, if you can sell records, do it. That's what I say. You know what I mean? Roxanne knows the Chino brothers, don't you know? I'll say this: my favorite
that
line.
will bring you on the show.
So Kango Kid was one of the rappers in UTFO. One of my favorite lines in Roxanne's Revenge, she was like, there once was this dude with the name of a hat. I was like, that's the funniest thing you could say about Kango Kid. But
Agreed. DJ
anyways,
DT.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Roxanne Shante responds with the Queen of Rocks. My favorite line in this song was, they said we got our own Roxanne. I said her and I said, that girl's got a face like a man. You know, they went out and said they had their own Roxanne. You know, I saw that girl, she had a face like a man. And they had the video, dude. The dude turns around, he has a mustache. Oh, man, it's so funny. Like, dude, they were bagging on each other
so
without
80s.
cussing, too. So that's what made it even funnier, you know what I mean? Because you gotta
Oh
be
my
so
gosh.
clever.
Dude, that's awesome.
Okay, now in 1986, she released Bite This, where she disses UTFO, The Real Roxanne, Curtis Blow, Run DMC, and
What?
Sparky D. Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, then
Run
she was signed-
DMC?
yeah, dude, she was going after everybody, bro. She
Wow.
was like, I'm a battle rapper. Don't get it twisted. So whoever you are, I'm coming at you.
Whoa.
And yeah, and they even asked her about that because back then though, people wouldn't call out names. They would just say sucker MC, blah blah blah, and like kind of describe who they were talking about. And she was like,
Yeah.
nope, I'll let you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, dude. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Roxanne Shante. Part of me is like, she's really cool, and part of me is like, man, this. Okay. Then she joined Pop Art Records out of Philadelphia, and they were like, whatever you want to do, we don't care. You want to cuss? Go ahead. Whatever you want to do, go right ahead. Yeah, and then what she started doing is showing up at the other Roxanne show, the Real Roxanne. So Roxanne Shante would show up at the Real Roxanne's shows. Wherever she'd be at, she'd show up. And like she knew the people that were running the little venues, and they'd let her spit afterwards. So she'd
Really?
go right afterwards. Yeah,
Was the real Roxanne the second one?
yeah, that was the
Adelita?
second one. Yeah.
Was she like good? Oh, she was. No, okay, so Roxanne.
No, dude, they
Shante
wrote the
had
they wrote the
skills,
song
huh?
for her. Yeah, Roxanne Shante freestyled the whole Real Roxanne. That's the thing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so that's an MC.
Yeah, she's an MC. She's a battle rapper.
Okay. and Adelita was a performer.
Yeah, and then there was
Okay.
other Roxannes and stuff. So she just started going and mopping them all up, and all of them stopped going out and touring and stopped performing.
Oh, so she'd she'd blow up their spot, freestyle after them, and just be like, okay, shut it down. I'm Roxanne Shante, the only Roxanne. Dope.
Okay, then DJ Mr. Magic put together a crew, and they called them the Juice Crew. And now listen to this, murderers row. It was Molly Mall, Big Daddy Kane, MC Shan, Cool G Rap, Tragedy Gaddafi, and Biz Marquee.
Tragedy Gaddafi, we talked about him in the Ja Rule stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
The guy was like, I think I remember him. But every other one you mentioned, I totally know.
Oh, they're all legends.
Yes,
Like all those
yes.
legends were in one crew.
Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah.
Cool G Rap, all those guys. Yep.
And then KRS-One dissed them.
Really? Yeah. You got to tell me.
Well, he just dissed them in the bridge. Like, if the
Okay.
bridge is over, the bridge is over. Bye-bye-bye, the bridge is
Yeah.
over, the bridge is over. But anyways, and then she put out 2 more albums. Most of them had, like, just multiple diss tracks. She dissed Queen Latifah. She dissed all these people. And then she stopped making records. And then in 2017, Netflix put out a biopic called Roxanne. You can still catch it on Netflix today, folks, I think. And I might check it out myself. Looks a little drama-filled, though, but...
Dude, I
So
dig
that's
it.
it, man.
Man, I
Isn't that
love
crazy?
that too. Because, dude, the Roxanne too, that was kind of, in the same time frame. And you called it because I was living in Southern California at the time. You were in the same area,
Yeah.
and it was hard to get hip
couldn't
hop,
find-
especially
Well, your friends
New
would
York.
have it.
Yeah, you'd have to kind of we had a buddy that had moved from New York, and
Oh.
kind of schooled us on this stuff. And he rolled with our DJ crew. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. He's a white guy, kind of looked like a Beastie Boy type dude with the glasses and everything.
Okay.
Oh man, I can't remember his name. I would shout him out. J-Rock, if you're watching, you know who I'm talking about. But
Yo, Kango, I don't think that you're dense. She just went about the matter with no experience. You should know. She doesn't need a guy like you. She needs a guy like me with a high IQ. Dude, I listened to it with the kids this morning. I was jumping. Tomorrow we're going to listen to Roxanne's Revenge, dude.
oh, that's dope. Yeah, and that's the thing. Every time we do an episode like this, I go back and listen to the stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I
I
listen to all the music.
love that old school hip hop.
Yeah.
Like the pioneer old school hip hop with those corny beats and that like that boop 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 boop, boop rapping. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, I love it, dude.
And dude, the thing was, you didn't curse, and it was almost like you were frowned upon if you cursed.
Yeah, I know.
Like it was like a thing to if you curse, yeah, it's kind of like you don't know how to rap. Granted that
But
changed,
in Roxanne, Dr. Nice, his flow was dope though. And he was like, her cousin's name was Larry, her father's name was Harry. You know, and like you'll never find a rhyme like this in any dictionary. Back in February, or was it January? You know, and if I had a baby, I would name the baby Mary. Like her father's a fairy. Like
that was a big diss too. The fairy.
Holy cap. Yeah, dude. I was just like, this is the dopest, man. Did you take her to the beach? That's what we planned, but she stood me up. Roxanne. Bam, bam, Roxanne. Oh, man. I freaking
understand.
Dude, when I heard that song, whoo,
yeah, that's
I
dope,
wanna
dude.
be your man.
I gotta find that too. I bet you I got some UTFO vinyl. I got some Roxanne.
Oh,
I
I
know
love
I do.
UTFO.
I don't know which Roxanne I have now, though. I'm thinking about it. I think
So
I have.
UTFO and Houdini were connected. So
Okay.
I can't remember whose cousin was in which crew. Like they were all connected back then, but my gosh, UTFO put out such fun music. Even
Yeah.
Ice-T, like his music was fun back then. It was gangster, but it was fun, you know? Like,
Yeah. And Houdini had a lot of good hits too, man.
oh man, so
That's a
much
whole
fun.
nother one.
Yeah, maybe
man.
I'll do another one on that. But yeah, man, UTFO, God bless you. I saw Kango Kid on Sway, I think it was, on YouTube. And he got an endorsement with Kangol, and like
Oh,
it was
nice.
really cool. Yeah, like he just seems like a really nice guy, and he did some producing for Lisa Cold Jam, and it's
Cool.
like, yeah, man, like it all kind of turned out right. So yeah, watch the
That's
Netflix
good to hear.
thing. I haven't watched the Netflix thing yet. All right, what do we got
That's
for the
dope,
news, homeboy?
All right, we got a lot of stuff going on, and a few weeks back we talked about the baby. Everybody knew about this when he, made some comments at that
Dude, this
Rolling Loud
story-
thing.
Hold on, this story that you're about to bring up. Yesterday, it wasn't really that big a deal. Today, it's on every podcast.
Everybody's
podcast,
talking
yeah.
about it, huh? Everybody's. And dude, and here's the thing, the baby. Whether you thought he went over the line or not, he did what he did, and he's not going to change the way he is. But
We have a DeBaby episode on our show. You guys can go check out our I think it's a 7-minute segment on our YouTube page.
yeah,
It's
about
getting
this
a
whole
lot of
story.
views. It's getting a lot of views since this story came out.
Since it's
what
popping
you're about
back
to
up,
say.
yeah. Oh yeah, he's popping back up. And dude, we know, Mike, the baby. People tried to cancel him for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like,
Yeah.
whatever, dude. He just keeps making music, doing what he's doing,
But
and
then they try to
still making songs.
get past it. Like, okay, well then let's not talk about it. Let's not
Oh,
tell.
yeah.
Let's not allow people to know that someone had the right to have freedom of speech.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Exactly. And Dave Chappelle weighed in on it.
Uh-oh.
He had his Netflix special, and Dave Chappelle, he has the ability to just go somewhere where you just didn't even think about, and it's like he spits logic, and you're like, that makes sense. Why didn't anybody think about that?
He's so big and he has such a huge fan base that he can't get canceled.
Yeah, dude, you can't cancel Dave.
They tried to on Sticks and Stones. Like, so the Rotten Tomatoes score initially, they didn't open to the audience. And he got like a 15% from the critics, and they're like, Then they opened it to the audience 4 days later, and it was 98% fresh.
Yeah, dude. So don't let them tell you what's good or not. You make your own decision about what's good. And Dave Chappelle has a great point on it. He's talking about look, the baby did what he did, and he even said, like, you know what, he made some stuff like let me just find this quote. Like he saw that thing. He's all, I go hard in the paint. This is Dave Chappelle talking. I go hard in the paint. But even I saw that S and was like, dang, the baby. He pushed the button, didn't he? Then he added, this is funny. He punched the LGBTQ community right in the AIDS. Can't do that. Can't do that. So yeah, that's what
I'm not laughing at.
That's a quote.
I'm not laughing
That's a
at.
quote.
I'm laughing at Adley quote, not what Adley said.
Right, right. Yeah. So Chappelle said that, but then he brought up a really good point. He's all Chappelle. He argued about it, how people are criticizing the baby and contributed to a supposed cancellation, but don't know that the rapper, the baby, shot and killed a 19-year-old man in North Carolina in a Walmart in 2018.
Yeah.
If you didn't know this, the baby talks about it on every the song. He was like, "I killed a man. I'll do it again to protect my family." You know what I mean? So he's saying he was acting in self-defense, whatever. He wasn't charged with the man's death. He was found guilty of a misdemeanor weapons charge. Now think about this. Chappelle says he quipped, kind of half jokingly, but seriously, nothing bad happened to the baby's career. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a person, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
Man, ooh, dude, that's such a touchy subject right now. What do you think? I don't know if it's right now or forever. What do you think? Is it touchy or is it not?
Dude, how long do we got to walk on eggshells? You know what I'm saying?
You're done, huh? Because
I
we
don't
started
know.
Chino Brothers 4 months ago. You were like, Mike, no,
We got to
you're
filter
kinda
it.
wild.
Tomato this, tomato that. Yeah.
You were so worried that I was just going to go off the rails. And now you're like, let me free.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Obviously, I and we've said it on the show. Straight, gay, whatever race, everything. We love everybody. But man, if you're gonna get your feelings hurt over every little thing and try to tell me how to be and how I gotta act and what pronoun I gotta use when sometimes I don't even know, honestly.
Bro, you want
I
to go?
think that's
You want
a
to go
problem.
super deep in the paint on this one?
Let me see. What do you got?
All right. I won't see who this person is because
In between, let's shout out Sean from the
what up,
Hated.
Sean?
Giving Vicky a shout out from Sean. What's up, Sean?
There's a person I know, and they had to take a sensitivity training this week to learn how to gender the very young children they're doing medical help with. And it was taught by a transgender person. So in other words, the person I'm talking about does medical care for children under the age of 5 and has to figure out what gender that child is according to what this person told them. Isn't that bananas?
It boggles my mind.
But it's medical care, though, Adley. That's the problem, right? Because there's a genetic difference between natural or cis or whatever you want to call them, women, and
Biologically speaking, there's a difference.
and little
I mean,
boys.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, dude, but I can tell you this: that Dave Chappelle, whatever you think about his comments, he gets you thinking. And you've talked about this, Mike, before. When are we going to be able to have a conversation about stuff like this?
I want to have a conversation, and I think that the Chino brothers, the nice part about it is that you and I are on the same page for a lot of these things. And I know that Rascal thought it was cool that him and Chico had completely opposing sides, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. But I think you and I are dead center in the middle. You lean a little more right than I do. I think I lean a little more left than you do. But I think at the same time, we even each other out, where I'll explain, liberal ideas to you and be like, hey, man, look at it from this perspective. And you go, oh, yeah, okay, I can see that. But you also do the same to me with conservative ideas, I think this idea that it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where there's five guardians of what you can say or not say. You know what I mean? You can't question medical science anymore. You can't question the government anymore. You can't question, the ideals of sexuality anymore. You can't question these things. And it's like, well, how soon are we not allowed to believe in our religions?
That gets scary.
Does it though? Because if our religions teach us that something is a sin, and you're telling us that if we say that we're bigots, are we really allowed to believe in our religion?
Huh. Well, I will always believe what I believe in that sense. But that does make it interesting. That's what I'm saying. Give me the information. Let me make the decision as an adult of which way I'm going to go with.
Well, let people be wrong.
And and don't
dude,
judge them.
No, judge them. You can judge everybody. Like, here's the thing. The Klan is wrong. I can judge them.
Okay.
But I live in the United States, so the Klan is allowed to have their beliefs because the First Amendment protects that. I will never believe as they believe. But the problem becomes when someone attributes you to the Klan because you don't believe what they believe. You know what I mean? Nothing bothers me more than when white liberals do that to me. When I don't believe what they believe, and they're like, "Well, that's because you're a racist," and I'm like, or could be I don't believe what you believe.
Yeah, as simple as that. As simple as that. We just don't agree. We don't agree.
Yeah, well, and it drives me bananas because I'm like, I have tons of black friends. My kid goes to a primarily black school. When I mean primarily, probably 70%. I have more black customers in Westview than any establishment I'm familiar with. Best man at my wedding was black. I don't want to have to explain that. Not to mention, I'm also a minority. So you who live in the suburbs and have a sign in your front yard, but don't want to live in a black community, maybe we don't have that conversation. Maybe you just tell me what kind of music you like. Maybe you just, maybe you just, don't tell me who you voted for. I don't care. Don't tell me whatever your ideas are on anything that doesn't actually affect you, because I don't care. Or if you're going to have that conversation with me, be ready for me to be like, cool, I don't agree.
Yeah.
And cool, I don't agree doesn't make me a bigot.
Yeah. And just back to the baby real quick. He's still streaming 35 million songs a week. So there's a lot of people that canceled, but still did probably the opposite of canceled. Said, well, let me see what homie's about.
No, I think people are like, good, he can speak. I wish I could speak.
Yes, I agree with you there too. Because man, I wish I could say those things and whatever. And 50 Cent even kind of talked about Dave Chappelle's comments, saying like, hey man, Dave Chappelle's a funny mother F. That was flawless, he said. Hip hop loves things that are damaged. That's the beauty of the culture. The baby's on a new path. Music has changed everything. And 50 Cent's a pretty logical guy for the most part. He's gritty and he's grimy and he'll tell it like it is to your face. But he's he's saying, Chappelle, that's you hit the nail on the head, man.
I just think that when the pendulum swings the other way, it's going to be so harsh. Because right now we're ultra liberal and then it's going to go to ultra conservative and it's just going to be so harsh. It's like, dude, you guys, stop the ride. Most people think like the two of us. They just want a good place for their kids to go to school, not be told what to think, not be told they can't believe a certain thing, and live their lives. Yeah.
Work.
All right, next story. What do we got?
Whatever. Yeah. Okay. This is on a less serious note.
Yeah, give me something light, dude.
This is pretty cool. And it's crazy, dude. We haven't really had live music for the past year and a half, but we're starting to see it come back. We had our concert with Groove over here in Bakersfield that had a couple thousand people go to it. A great old school lineup. It's nice to see those things. And New Kids on the Block are announcing their Mixtape 2022 tour with Salt and Pepper, Rick Astley, In Vogue. And they actually did this. I was like, didn't they do this like in a couple years ago? And they actually did. Back in 2018, they did the Mixtape tour. And it actually came through Bakersfield. It doesn't look like it's coming through this year.
But wasn't the last time like 98 Degrees and some other boy band?
Yeah, it was a past tours. Here it is. 98 Degrees, Boys to Men, TLC, Nelly, Paula Abdul, Debbie
that's
Gibson,
a pretty good show, though.
Tiffany, and then Salt and Pepper too. So I don't know if those guys were on every lineup, but I know when they came through Bakersfield, I know it was 98 Degrees, New Kids on the Block. I feel like it was the Debbie Gibson and Tiffany as well.
That's a pretty decent lineup. I think this lineup sounds pretty good. I like how it's like, look, we couldn't tour together before, but we like these people. Let's just tour together. You know what I mean? Dude,
I want you to check. Here's actually a pretty cool video about it. You want to check this out real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Here we go. Let's see.
Are you screwing with me?
Rick rolled you, bro.
You got me. I thought that there was going to be an actual, they were showing each artist thing. Rick rolled me. What do you got, dude? What's our next story?
Okay. This is a pretty good one. Speaking of music still, this one is about the Beatles. Sir Paul
Oh,
McCartney.
this is my favorite story of the night. This is my favorite. You guys got to listen to this story.
Dude,
It's
this
so
is
good.
so funny.
So
Paul
good.
McCartney, he hides his hemp from teenagers. And dude, and this is the crazy part. When you look into it, you're kind of like, okay, he's got a plant in the bathroom and he's got some grow lights. That was kind of my first thought. 'Cause
Well,
I'm
I like
come on.
how the headline is he hides his hemp to make it sound like he's making rope out of it or something like that. And then you get into it and it's like, no, this guy's been smoking weed for 50 years.
He's hiding it. He's hiding it from his teenagers.
From his own teenagers?
well, that's kind of what I thought. But it sounds like because he actually grows weed, grows pot plants and stuff.
Yeah.
He has a farm in Peas Marsh, wherever that is. Anyways, but he has a farm in England somewhere,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to. They even tell you like you got to conceal it, kind of grow it in between stuff. So you're growing it alongside like rye, peas, wheat. Wheat kind of grows
okay.
kind of tall too.
That makes sense.
And really, it's so you could hide it because, dude, come on. If we were in high school together and you knew some dude down the street was growing weed, we're getting
Dude.
our flashlights and our clippers. I mean, right?
Did he get? Obviously, he must have gotten caught at least once, right? From these teenagers, he must have gotten at least clipped a couple times from these teenagers.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't even deny it. He's all. I'm trying to find this. We're actually just getting into growing hemp. The funny thing with government regulations is you've got to keep it where people can't see it because you got all these kids coming in and robbing it. So they come in. But it sounds like he is really growing the hemp as hemp as far as like, making products like
No,
soap
he's
or
not,
clothes,
dude.
whatever.
That dude's the classy Tommy Chong, bro. He's smoking pot, bro. That dude has smoked pot since 1961, but he's handsome. So everybody's like, "Oh, Paul McCartney, you're so handsome and nice and fun." Snoop Dogg's ugly. He can smoke as much weed as he wants, dude. You know what I mean? Bro, have you seen them? Have you seen him and Dre talking about the halftime show? Dude, there's a YouTube video. Dude, there's a YouTube video out there with them, and they're talking about it. And bro, it is so cool. But they look as old. They look like senior citizens. They look so old, dude.
Yeah, Snoop looks like he's partied a lot.
Dude, they got to be like in their 60s, right?
No, Snoop's younger than us, dude. So
No,
younger
he's
than
not
me.
younger than us.
Maybe your age. He's in his 40s, late 40s, approaching 50. Yeah.
I can't believe it took this long for them to put a hip hop show in the halftime. What's Danny P
Everybody's
saying?
pumped, dude. Oh, he's the one who kind of hinted to me.
I know, but
But we talked about it
what's
before.
he saying in the comments?
Oh, here he is. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
It's okay.
He's on tour with NKOTB. Now you're talking about Paul McCartney? Wait, who are we talking about? I learned it from watching you. Yeah, so Danny, yeah, we talked about this previously, right?
I learned it from watching you, Dad. That was a commercial in the 80s. I learned it from watching you. Yeah, come on, bro. If you didn't think if this is breaking your heart that Paul McCartney smokes pot, you really got to wake up, bro. Like, I'm telling you right now.
Hey, John, pass me some of that reefer.
Did you ever listen to the Beatles or no?
Kinda,
I
not really.
love the Beatles. I love the Beatles more than I love Run DMC.
They're one of the groups I need to get into and just go and just deep dive and listen to their albums and stuff because, dude, they're Rick Astley we're talking about.
He's on tour.
I got a
we
video
talked
for you
about it a
guys.
couple seconds ago.
No, I'm just kidding. But dude, Paul McCartney, he started smoking weed. He learned from Bob Dylan, or he got
that's
high
true.
with Bob
You're
Dylan.
right.
So
How'd
that's
you
pretty
know
crazy
that?
to think. I just kind of did a little tiny bit of research on it too.
Yeah.
But he kind of says he doesn't do it really because he doesn't want to set a bad example
He's
for his
so lying,
grandkids.
man. You are lying, dude. You ain't gonna lie to people. I listen to your music. Get out of here with that bull crap. Bro, one time
Yeah.
me and Sherilyn were driving down the road. My wife, we were driving down the road. I'm not saying that for your benefit. I'm saying that for anybody who's watching's benefit. Because I realize I always reference her as Sherilyn. I'm like, well, pretty soon people aren't going to know who the two of us are. And so I keep calling my wife by her first name. Anyways, we were driving down the road. We were just listening to the White Album. And I'm like, this sounds like a greatest hits album. It's just one hit after the next hit after the next hit. Like, there were so many hits on that album. But, bro, you listened to that album stoned, and you were like, I've never heard music before. This is the best music I've ever heard in the history of my life.
Well, dude, there was the Beatles too of "I Want to Hold Your Hand," which is neat.
That was before they
But
met.
then-
That was before they met Dylan.
Before they met Bob Dylan,
So
yes.
they had like all that bubble gum. Then they met Dylan, and that's when "I Am the Walrus"
Yes.
came out. You know what I mean?
Yellow
I am
Submarine.
the Eggman. I am the walrus, cuckoo, cachoo. It's like, what are these guys talking about?
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, dude.
You're gonna tell me
Yeah.
there's no psychedelics or marijuana going on in those in Rubber Soul, Yellow
There's
Submarine?
definitely a difference. Yes, yes, there's definitely a transition too. But that's what, yeah, it's one. And how many albums they got? They got like 15 albums, right? They got a
put out
bunch
an
of
album
albums
every season.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
I know, dude.
Okay.
They were
Strawberry
I love-
Fields, Strawberry
Oh, yeah,
Fields
Strawberry
forever.
Fields. Absolutely. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and I don't care what they say that song was about. Oh no, it's not about LSD. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Stick with that story, Paul McCartney. God bless Paul McCartney trying to keep up his image after all these years, but it's like, bro, you think Tommy Chong cares? He doesn't care.
Weed's legal pretty much everywhere now, so it is what it is and stuff too. And the Beatles, yeah. My dad, I know, was a big fan. My uncles, all of them, they listened to the Beatles. They had to, and Bob Dylan,
love the Beatles.
and all that stuff.
I adore the Beatles.
Yeah.
You know what's weird though is I don't listen to them very often. I should listen to them.
I'm telling you, I need to deep dive. I need
used
to
to listen to them in
them.
high school.
I need to listen to Roxanne, and the Beatles. That's our
Oh,
mission.
yeah.
That's our missions
Phenomenal.
right there.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
But yeah, anyways, neither here nor there. Paul McCartney, you're smoking pot. Just admit it. And here, I'm going to tell you exactly how this is going to go down, Adley, whether you believe me or not, although it might not. In 4 months, you're going to have a news story. You're going to be like, Paul McCartney's putting out the Yellow Submarine, his pre-rolled joints, like you're doing with Peaches on the last episode, right? With,
Yeah, you called
Justin
it,
Bieber.
man. I guarantee you something's going to come out. Why? Because the Beatles got to be on some cannabis, right?
Definitely.
If not, they should be. I mean, as far as like
100%
getting in the
smoke pot.
business, getting in the business.
Oh, get into the business of pot?
If Justin Bieber got
There's
in the
only,
business,
yeah, but there's
come
only two
on.
Beatles left. I bet you Ringo's into pot. Like, I bet you Ringo. I could see Ringo selling.
He's
pot. I
into
don't
making
know.
money.
Yeah,
He's
Ringo
into
needs the
making
cash.
money.
Paul McCartney owns half of the masters
Catalog and
of
everything.
the catalog of the Beatles. So it's like, guess what? My
didn't need
grandchildren
money.
won't work. Like, no one's ever gonna have to work.
My
in
great
my family.
great grandchildren
Yeah.
off to work again too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I could see Ringo going for the money grab, being like, you know what, this is Ringo. Try my pre-rolled joints. Yeah.
My Octopus's Garden. That was his song.
Oh, that was
I
his
like
big
to
thing?
be under the sea in an octopus's garden. That's how the song goes. Yeah, that would be his joints. Octopus's
remember
Garden.
that
It
one.
comes in 8. It comes in 8 joints.
Oh, an 8-pack.
Yeah.
8-pack of
Ringo,
pre-rolls.
if you're listening to the Chino brothers, and I know you watch us regularly with Sting and all those other British musicians, tell Bono we said hi. We're going to start there, but we'll continue with, there's our idea for you, the Octopus's Garden.
That's a great idea.
8 joints coming out of like a little bong or something. I don't know how that's going to work.
That is amazing. That would be so funny too. But yeah, I don't know. Sir Paul McCartney has an image.
Oh, that's right. You asked me when we were doing show prep. Do we have to call him Sir Paul McCartney? He's a knight, dude. Think about it. If you're a knight, you can't admit you smoke pot. If you're a knight,
Interesting. But he is Sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he's a knight. That's why he's Sir Paul McCartney. He was knighted by the British Queen, by the crown.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
you can't be
And-
blazing up, bro. You can't do that. This ain't Hunter Biden. Come on, man.
That was crack.
You like that? All right, you guys. We're done with this episode. Season 2, episode 14 in the books. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Adley, you know how many followers we got now?
375.
643.
Oh my
Isn't
goodness!
that dope, dude?
Seriously?
Yeah, I know. Because last time I talked to you, it
Dang.
was like 420 or something like that.
Was it?
Yeah.
420. Nice.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.
Chino Brothers podcast.